Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dota 2 Asia Championships. We've got two more best-of-threes coming your way this afternoon, and first of which will be the Hellraisers versus the Power Rangers. This is a big one here. It is the winner bracket finals. So the winner of this one will be moving on to the grand finals with a one-game advantage in what I believe is a best-of-5 series. Yep, it sure is. And, of course, that winner will be in the main event for DAC, and then the third and second place teams will be going to China as a wild card. So both of these teams secure at least as wild cards going into the main event, but still a lot to fight for. I'm Zyori, joined again today by Merlini. It's the good word, man.
Hello. Excited to see some Hellraisers versus Power Rangers. Probably not the teams that everyone was expecting, but Hellraisers have been doing phenomenally this past couple of months, even though they've been, laying a little bit low. They were kind of the advent of the Vanguard Medusa strat, and they have a lot of tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah, they sure do. It's an interesting team that has really started to hit their stride. They already qualified for ES Portal, which is a big tournament going to be coming up in 2015 with the LAN finals, and made a pretty good run in Starladder. We're going to see them coming up just a couple days here at the Starladder Season 11 LAN finals. So a team to look out for. I'm sort of curious about the bets, though. I think Hellraisers should be favored, but PR, not a team that you can expect to have a walkover, and yeah, about 58% in favor of HR. I think that feels about right.
Yeah, a lot of people have been praising the new PR roster as something that's been up and coming, very stable, going to make waves at TI5, and I think their carry player is of somewhat, he's somewhat notable. He's one of the newer guys on the team.
Yeah. Both teams have been putting up good results. I mean, hell, if you're making it to the winners' finals of a bracket like this, then you're probably doing something right. The second best of three we'll be covering today, just for the sake of full scheduling, will be the Na'Vi versus Alliance game, the old El Clasico, not what it used to be, but that'll be the losers bracket round 3. So one of those big names going home empty-handed. And that will be a big round, as the winner of that guaranteed to go as a wild card at the very least, and the loser walks away with nothing. So lots of big matches today, Merlini. We got the good stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Only, 3 teams from this region, as you said. So this one will not be an elimination match, but still very important.
Very important.
And then moving on to this draft.
Yep. First pick, Venge. We see the Juggernaut banned out. Yesterday was the day of Wisp and Juggernaut, it felt like. We saw first pick Wisp, I think, like 4 out of 4 games, something. And FNG, not in this match, but we saw him play a really, really good Wisp yesterday, and finally teams in this region.
Ghost lives on.
Yeah, the Ghost lives on. So, yeah, fairly straightforward bans. First pick, Venge. Hellraisers open with Puck Dazzle, and there's PR right there with the Zeus, the Thunder God, going to be dropping some lightning.
See some of the pushing carries already banned out from PR2. 3 of the 4 actually are pushing carries, and Witch Doctor is not so shabby at push himself. So, I mean, Hellraisers run that sort of strategy occasionally, but it looks like this one will be, I mean, bunch of gankers, Mentor Fighters. I'm surprised no Brewmaster has been taken up. Synergizes very well with the Dazzle, and I don't know. What do you think about Brew?
Brew?
The old
right now, yeah, the Barrel of Laughs. He's just... It feels more and more when I see him picked up, he's rightfully not in that first pick, first ban couplet. It just seems that teams are getting better at dealing with the spirits, cutting them around, and in general, just I don't know what it was. It wasn't like he got hit that hard with a big nerf or anything, but it just feels like he doesn't control tempos like he used to. I don't know if it's just the adaptations in the meta with some of these other heroes that we're seeing, like Juggernaut, for example, being a little more elusive, more slippery, but Brew has been underwhelming in the games I've seen over the past 2, 3, 4 weeks. But Slark for the Hellraisers, he's been kind of hit or miss. Some teams really prioritize the Slark, others not so much, but some pretty nice synergy there with the Dazzle also. And looking at this PR draft, a lot of food for that Murloc.
Or is it? I don't know. They have a lot of bursts to deal with them. Venge and Zeus just have a lot of straight-up damage to deal with a Slark rather than... a lot of disables, which Slark can easily play his way around, and Disruptor too. One of the best supports at shutting down a Slark. I mean, of course, if he gets like Shadow Blade and
Yeah.
7 minutes.
That's what I'm
Starts
picturing
owning
more like
people.
Slark going for a fast Shadow Blade here.
10
And yeah, all these
seconds
heroes
remaining.
together have a lot of burst and can kill the Slark in team fights, but individually, these are
5
all very
seconds
squishy
remaining.
heroes, really without escape mechanisms. And one Shadow Dance, one kill, I think, will be the way of it if PR aren't
Reserve
careful
time.
about
5
their
seconds
positioning.
remaining.
Especially with the old Dazzle Slark combo. One defensive ability for Slark so he can't get bursted down from
Hey.
100 to 0. And then
Here you go. Another one. The Troll Warlord. Good synergy all around. The Battle Trance. All that extra buff up to the physical damage on top of the weave. Sort of gives you that option to let Slark go ham on somebody across the map.
European Dota has been all about the troll lately.
Man. Yeah, Dakota was just talking yesterday about how it's interesting that the metas are just vary so much right now with so many heroes that are totally viable in this meta. You go to North America,
10
you see Omni Knight
seconds
first pick,
remaining.
first ban quite a bit. Come over here to Europe, and it's all about the Wisp,
5
all about the
seconds
Troll, and,
remaining.
well, mostly about the Juggernaut. I don't know what they're doing in China right now, but I don't think they're playing the Troll that
Reserve
much.
time.
They still love the jug.
They still love the Jug. So, a pretty scary lineup for Hellraisers, though. I like kind of the general setup here. They've got a nice tempo controller and that of the puck. Power Rangers, they've got a lot of team fight potential here, and they're going to need to pick up their next 2 cores. Who are they going to get for a carry? What's Zyori going to play this time around?
We see Void a fair amount to deal with Slark. It's decent setup for them, but I think they need someone with a little more lockdown. They actually have just 1 stun from the Vengeful Spirit, and they're very vulnerable to BKBs from Slark and Troll Warlord right now with their heavy magic-based lineup. And on top of that, traditional man fighters also work very poorly versus Troll and Slark.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, the longer the fight draws on, Dazzle's just going to have his way with the weave.
Yeah.
And that will make man fighting even more terrible for them. So I think they need a fighter that, doesn't fight in the traditional sense.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure who that is, though. That's
It's
my
like a Faceless Void.
Faceless Void.
Something
That
like-
could be really good with Zeus and Disruptor. A lot of setup.
Something like that, like a Naga Siren, like a Spectre. These sort of heroes, they
Okay.
aren't traditional man fighters. Man fighters I
10
view as like a
seconds
gyro with
remaining.
BKB and
Yeah.
he's straight man
Dollar
fighting you.
team
Life
ban.
Stealer, kind of a classic man fight hero. Hop in there.
Life Stealer too.
Give him the right click.
It's
There's
just
the Faceless
it's
Void.
like the no hands man fighting. The
Yeah.
no hands brawl. It's just like we both have our right click skills. PA too, also
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
those.
She may be a woman, but she's quite manly.
10 seconds
You might want to scoot
remaining.
that mic back again, man. Get some mouth breathing. You're going to be known as the mouth breather
5
if you're not
seconds
careful.
remaining.
I think it's because you guys have to
Scoot,
turn me up.
scoot the little the little stick
Radiant
back
team
instead of the
back.
mic, just slide
This
it.
looks awful.
Slide it a little. There you go. Look at this. We're working. Oh, there you go. That might help a little bit.
Hopefully,
We'll see how that is, folks. We've got a slightly longer delay, so
teach me how to breathe, dude.
10
teach me.
seconds remaining.
Oh my! So Faceless Void, good call on that
5
one.
seconds
Will it
remaining.
be a 1 or a 3 Void, though, is my question. Are they going to throw him in the
Dire
off
team
lane?
I think it's a 3.
Okay, so I think that makes some sense. So your Cheshire Cat hero, and then get something for Zyori. The Gyrocopter from the Hellraisers, very smart band, huge synergy with this lineup. He pairs very nicely with the Void in the off lane, and here the Zyori is comfortable with. They will ban out the Lion. Hellraisers will need their second support, and taking out the Demon Witch with all those crowd controls and the big finger.
10 seconds
There are a lot of
remaining.
heroes that are good at dealing with Faceless Void, though. Like Earthshaker, I think would be
5
pretty good for
seconds
them.
remaining.
That's
But
the
they
first one that comes to
any
mind.
other defensive supports would
Oh,
be
Tria.
fine.
All right, it's pretty good
Radiant
against Void.
team
Whoever's stuck in the
pick.
chrono, hit him with one of those global living armors there, and can make things a bit easier. Sort of a similar flavor to that, like Abaddon Weaver lane that we used to see a lot. Throw living armor up on the Slark, and he can really get aggressive and feel comfortable, kind of dive in towers and picking up kills in situations where he otherwise might not be so comfortable.
I like Hellraiser's lineup. It's like a very multifaceted
10
lineup.
seconds
They have
remaining.
Puck and Slark for the gank, Dazzle and Tree for
5
dual like
seconds
defensive
remaining.
and offensive capabilities. They have a fair amount of anti-BKB with Weave, with Bash from Troll, with Overgrowth, and they have good BKB heroes as well. And on the side of Power Rangers, a more, I would say, difficult to execute lineup. Almost zero defensive capabilities from the sports. I guess a swap and maybe like a Static Storm, but usually you want to use that Static Storm aggressively on the Slark. And it looks like the Zyori will be taking up the Morphling, and
Morphling.
they don't
Okay.
have that much on a Morphling here. Just
Puck silence
Puck
is about
silence
it.
is
Yeah.
about it. And on top of that, he has a lot of armor to deal with. Dazzle, he
Mm-hmm.
also doesn't really man fight that much either. Maybe real late into the game, you'll like see a Manta and right-click people, but usually he's a little bit more about the finesse, a little bit more about
10
the split
seconds
farming,
remaining.
just getting in and getting out of fights with the replicate, and
5
later
seconds
just
remaining.
having tons of items, kiting people with Scotty and Manta and whatnot.
Yeah, an interesting last pick is you don't really think of Morphling and Void as a super synergistic combo, but not too bad. Morphling is
Prepare
limited by
for
his
battle.
slightly shorter range, but
Well, they don't want to get
yeah,
they don't want to get out late game just by virtue of the draft.
yeah,
and
exactly.
That's a hero that can contend with this Slark and Troll duo. And Faceless Void, he's a good man fighter too. He has backtrack and his bash if it comes down to it into the later game. Unfortunately for PR, I think that Hellraisers has a much stronger early mid lineup since Morphling usually farms until 25, 30 plus. Sometimes you'll see them get a little bit more involved. But on top of that, they have a far better Roshan lineup, and I don't really think they
Yeah.
can control too much around the pit.
Yeah, I feel like this HR lineup is just a little bit easier to execute. They have some like high skill cap heroes individually, but in general, the strategy is kind of just dominate the lanes, farm up, and then just group up and look for ganks. Find pickoffs with the
30
Slark,
seconds
use
to
your
battle.
very defensive supports to allow him to be kind of hyper aggressive, and use that momentum to, like you said, control Roshan and then control the map. And for PR, they're going to have to be very cautious about their movements. And the big thing for me is this Chronosphere. Now with that longer cooldown, you have to make every chrono count. It's kind of got that Ravage effect a little bit, where if PR use that chrono willy-nilly, they catch it on a level 1 cooldown, that's 2 minutes where HR can feel very aggressive, push towers, and know that PR can't fight nearly as easily.
The
I mean,
battle
even catching
begins.
2 heroes, I don't think is enough for the Chronosphere.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where that difficulty in execution comes in.
Or it's just not being overly reliant on that and having Disruptor and Venge and Zeus put out the majority of the damage in the fights so that you don't have to be super reliant on a Chronosphere to win them. And we see Gorek try to do some tricks at the start. He tried to orb a couple of times to place the ward, but PR was really quick out of the gate and scouted his maneuvers into the Radiant jungle, and he will not be able to drop his ward safely.
Yeah, not yet at least. Will be a safe lane try for the Power Rangers. J4 on the Venge, and Seneko takes the Raptor. Gorek getting harassed pretty hard here. Thunderstrike going to be the first ability leveled up by the Disruptor, so we'll put out some decent damage. And yeah, Gorek will get a living armor nice and early on here. Dityara taking the Morphling in the mid. That leaves Shotchlo on the Zeus up against F and Ninja on the Troll Warlord. A 1v1 matchup there. Cheshire Cat taking the offlane Void, and will be a safe lane try for HR. Arts on the 1. That'll put Gotham on the Treant there, and Dread will play the Shadow Priest Dazzle. And they're going to stack and pull and work this jungle as none of their camps are blocked.
And in the mid lane should be pretty easy for Apple Ninja, and I think he's the one with kill potential here, barring no movement from the supports. But Troll actually is a very strong laner in the mid and can kill a pretty weak hero like the Zeus as long as he doesn't get spammed down by the lightning.
Yeah.
Cheshire Cat already going for a very defensive build with the 1-1-0. No points in bash yet. Will make it very difficult to trade with the supports, especially now that his ward is down.
Yep. Nice use of the sentry there, and there's a lane ward down for the Hellraiser, so just glancing at their vision in the lane, not an easy time for the Faceless Void, and it's probably going to be slow going for Cheshire Cat from this point on in terms of experience, with this camp not really being a huge option here. He's partway through level 2, but now Arts with some good lane control, taking all those last hits under the tower. How's the puck doing? Gorak about on point with the Void, halfway through level 2, and pretty lackluster in terms of CS.
Double damage.
And in terms of rune control, I think that PR should actually have better rune control if their supports are actually trying to contest runes. I think their support duo is a tad bit stronger. Venge and Disruptor actually have a lot of kill potential on this Troll Warlord especially.
Yeah. Now, Gorak did manage to get a good ward down on the other side of the tree line here. It is outside of the Radiant Sentry. They saw him put it down, and unfortunately, Seneko unable to find it. So that will make Puck's life at least a little bit easier, but they still have the pole camp, and J4 here with a nice pull through. Now, I want to ask you about something in particular here. Got him on the tree. Quelling Blade Stout Shield. This is like actually a jungling tree here. He's stacking right now, but he's actually right-clicking pretty well. Up top, we'll hold that thought. Cheshire Cat initiated on. Time walks back. He'll be okay, but I feel like I don't see trees with Quelling Blades all that often.
X-Freedom, man.
X Freedom. Did he commission this strategy here?
He is one of the most well-known users of the tree quelling blade. He does these like ridiculous paths and just wraps around in team fights and has these ninja overgrowth. But you usually don't see it for the jungle, although it is definitely an option for him. He has super high space damage. And
I was just going to say, it makes sense when you're hitting for 91 with no stats. I mean, look how fast he kills these ogres. They'll run out of mana here, but Tree already getting into the level 4 territory. Pretty damn good.
You know who is not? And that is Dread on the Dazzle. Level 1/2 right now.
Oh,
1.5 rather. Yeah.
That's harsh. Halfway through level 1, yeah. Dazzle is support that really needs experience. Not really known for his ability to play that sacrificial 5 and stay very under-leveled. And
you see goddamn trying to contest Rune against Cheshire Cat. He does not have enough mana for living armor.
And After Ninja will be here to keep him safe. Rune will stay safe and sound. It's a regen picked up by the Troll Warlord. And J4 will grab the bounty. Throws down a sentry, but will find no wards to kill. And
his sentry is indeed in the jungle, but just south of the radius of the sentry, and it will not be spotted, so that's very nice for Gorek.
But he could find himself in a little bit of trouble here. There is a glimpse on the Raptor. Is he going to go for it? No.
He can't glimpse.
He'll
just orb out if he gets glimpse, and then he'll phase as he returns, and then
pop he has the... Okay.
They can't get a kill unless he uses orb willy-nilly, or if they have static storm.
Yeah, or until Raptor hits 6. Yeah.
They can zone him out, though. It's not like he can get that much experience if both supports are there concentrated on zoning him out.
What is the mechanic with phase shift and the...
You can't phase the glimpse.
The glimpse, but you can just time it with the orb, so you can hop to the orb right as you get glimpsed back. Is that the...
Yes, it's...
Okay. Yeah, I knew you couldn't phase shift it. That was my source of my confusion.
It's sort of like Ember's Remnant, but not really.
Okay.
Remnant, you can actually, like... You're invulnerable while you're...
So you can actually kind of like disjoint it and make yourself immune.
Oh, Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, he'll be able to time walk back. No problem there. Nice pounce from Arts, though. Dread staying aggressive. Dread did find his level 3, so at least getting some experience now, recovering.
You see, goddamn, smoked in mid. Looks like he wants to get a kill on Shoshlo. He's at full HP, F and Ninja.
Okay, 2 points in the leech seed here. They might actually be able to do this. Shoshlo very low on mana. Whirling Axes come out. 2 TP reactions. One's going to be Seneko on the Raptor. The other is the Vengeful Spirit. Got him. May get punished here. There's the glimpse back right into the tower. Stunned up and brought down. That's your first blood. Shoshlo getting credit for it here, and a disastrous first smoke attempt from the Hellraisers.
That was an amazing response by the PR support. Both of them TP'd very, very quickly, and if they TP too late, they just bounce out, and it's nighttime too. It's pretty difficult to get vision of them for a glimpse. Unless, of course, they're really quick at TPing. Shoshlo actually might die here anyways.
Alpha Ninja getting very aggressive. There you go. More than enough damage. Nice recovery kill, and that'll set Troll up to level 7. Almost 8, and secures phase boost.
It's all about that ward right there, too. Sees him trying to make the greedy play, return to lane without any HP into a troll. Not happening.
Yep. So, all right, we finally have a first blood drawn. The safe lane farmer has still been very quiet within 1 or 2 last hits of each other. So, both Dityara and Arts keeping it steady up top. Cheshire Cat initiated on once again, but Time Walk, the ultimate trump card there against the Pounce. And the Elusive Void will live once more. He is level 5, so Cheshire Cat hanging in there, checking in on Gorek. He's about to find his 5 as well. So
see a double smoke from J4 and Soneko trying to get a kill on Afro Ninja. 10 magic stick charges in his inventory. Looks like goddamn is right outside of smoke range.
Yeah, Alpha Ninja initiated on here. There's the glimpse back right into the kinetic field. He's in a lot of trouble. Whirling Axes will buy him some time, but that won't keep you safe from the magic. Zeus zaps him down. Disruptor will get credit for that one, but another successful gank in the mid lane. We'll put PR back in the lead in terms of hero kills.
And in terms of usefulness of living armor, not terribly high here. Static Storm, very high instances of damage, and Zeus in particular is very good versus it too.
Thunderstrike's not are pretty decent against it as well, at least in these initial ganks. Takes off some of those ticks. Yeah, not the best living armor game, but this tree, he's doing something a little different here. Now he picks up the Orb of Venom, so he is really committed to doing some extra damage and having that utility slow. It's a very different way of working this hero.
I think they could actually kill top with the living with the Leech Seed and the Orb and then the Poison Touch, because that's a lot of slow to deal with, and he only has level 1 Time Walk. It's generally not enough to walk away, especially if they don't have to use a Slug Pounce to initiate.
J4 down bottom, gets the rune, tries to TP out, but 3 jump on him. The Troll Warlord gets another one up on the scoreboard there. Cheshire Cat up top. You were talking about it. Dazzle goes in with the Poison Touch. Slark connects with another Pounce, and that Time Walk enough to save him this time around. Slark will not pursue into the tower. I feel like Arts could have probably pursued that a little bit more, but Shotchlo, invisible, does make his way up, so maybe.
Well, he has boots, and the Slark does not have an Oov either. Oh, he's looking around. He does have Shadow Dance, and looks like Cheshire Cat will get bottled up if
now Void is 6, though. He just hit it.
If they were paying attention, though, they could tell that he didn't have any regen in his inventory, that there is a +1 over here. And I mean, I would assume that they're pretty vigilant about it, or they would assume that he ferried over a Salve himself in that very small window.
Yeah. So even though the position 1s have both been farming evenly, we do see our first big disparity where Dityara goes for some early combative items, Ring of Aquila, Bottle, Power Treads, Magic Wand, ready to take some fights if need be. Slark goes for the early Midas, and now just trying to...
Oh, they ping out this huge stack.
Whoa, yeah. Zeus Ult scouts it out. FNJ got him. I think they'll be safe. It's all pretty low. There is a rotation from the Zeus. Shotchlo may try and snipe a couple of these last hits. At the very least, leech some XP, but he's all by his lonesome. Needs to be a bit careful here. Support's on the way, and they will rendezvous as the battle for this stack commences. Unfortunately, not quite low enough for Shotchlo to take him down with the Arc Lightning. Gorak, he wants some vengeance. Dream Coil comes out just on Shotchlo. He won't break the tether as Gorak gets blasted down. Affinninja will get glimpsed back. They want to keep Shotchlo alive, and they'll do just that. Gorak phase shifts that last tick of Thunderstrike damage, and no kills will come out. HR keep their stack reasonably safe. We'll move back to the 3 big creeps remaining and try and clear them out. So good defense of their jungle.
That's very risky by PR. It was great game sense. I think Disruptor was the one who pinged on it. He called for an ulti by Zeus. They got vision of how big the stack was, how low Troll was, but they don't really have 5 that can move into that jungle that quickly. Cheshire Cat still trying to recover in the top lane. Dityara trying to get some farm on the Morphling in the bottom lane, and I mean, really, they just have 3 heroes. They're proceeding uphill. If they go too far, they get caught by a 3-man Overgrowth or a 3-man Dream Coil, and that is just asking to die.
Yeah. Art's leaping in the river there, and we'll get thrown back into the lane. Just kind of farming against the Void. Cheshire Cat finally getting some space here and starting to overtake the puck in terms of farm. Gets a bash on Arts as they kind of go blow for blow, and will time walk away as some support makes it back up.
HR can't really put out any pressure onto Power Rangers for, I'd say, the next 5 or 6 minutes at least, until Slark gets an Initiatum or Puck gets a Blink Dagger, just because they have no way to catch these elusive heroes. Like, if they want to initiate on Faceless Void or a Morphling, it's going to have to be nighttime or smoke or a smart approach from the fog, and those are all somewhat unreliable, I'd say, and the most reliable way is to just Blink Silence and then go for a kill. And on top of that, they have to worry about like a Disruptor or Revenge being there for a defensive swap or a Static Storm to counter the Initiate. And we're not really sure what build the Slark is going to go for, but usually it's a mobility item immediately following the Midas.
Blinker Shadow Blade, I think.
The best way for them to put pressure is to outfarm Power Rangers right now through the use of stacks and through the use of utilizing their entire jungle.
Well, they were doing a really good job of that. They were ahead by nearly 1,000 gold, but the gold graph as well as experience are now completely zeroed out. Down bottom, Gorak gets dove by Dityara, but again, the elusive Puck going to be able to survive without too much trouble. Yeah, maybe HR just sitting back and kind of waiting for the Blink Daggers to come out before they get too active. Yep.
He doesn't actually see Dread.
And Dread coming over, drops a heal bomb into the creep wave, walks right into him, won't be able to get off the shallow grave as Cheshire Cat secures the kill there. And they will clear out a few of these neutrals. Nice little rotation from PR there. Catches Dread completely unaware. Bottom lane, again, Gorak and Dityara going at it, but now there's a rotation. Dream Coil onto the Morphling and Affinninja with some Whirling Axes. More than enough damage to kill the Morphling. And Dityara will get punished for a bit of hyper-aggression there as he dove a little too deep for that one.
He was trying to be super efficient with his regen, getting Gorak low, and slowing his Blink Dagger even more by just waveforming, using a Replicate back, but again. Not
Dyer's
hasted
middle
troll,
tower
man.
not respecting
is under
the
attack.
living armor too. He doesn't have a good way to break living armor.
Well, Disruptor and Venge going to rotate down bottom, ready to try and defend this tower. They will go on to Ninja. And there's the Static Storm. Glimpse back into it. Kinetic Field is there. He will get trapped inside. Lots of TPs on the way. The Troll in a lot of trouble as J4 swaps him back. The kill will be secured as Dityara comes wave forming in. Big rotation from PR, but does prove worth it in the end as they kill the core.
Again, Hellraisers slightly overcommitting to a tower, and the best way to deal with Glimpse is to not have to back off, or back off as a
Dyer's
team,
bottom
so
tower
that
is
you're always
under
ready
attack.
to engage. And HR are going for these smaller scale engagements, like the two-man gank
Dyer's
on mid, the
structures are
two-man
fortified.
fight on bottom, and they're getting punished for it because all the supports TP in, and immediately it's a 4-on-2 fight where they get Glimpse back, and also they don't have any detail.
Here we go, down
Dyer's
bottom. The tower
bottom
goes
tower
down.
has
Defensive
fallen.
leave's already been used. Might not be the best time to fight for HR. They blow up the puck, and not the best chrono we've ever seen, but still looking good for Power Rangers. Overgrowth comes out, stops them all dead in their tracks.
Radiant's top tower is
And
under
Replicant
attack.
in the front lines, not going to hop to it, just playing with him here.
And another Glimpse that secures a fight, a win for the fight.
Radiant's
You see
middle
Slark go
tower
in and
is under
immediately
attack.
get Glimpse back.
Poor guy.
Well, he has Shadow Dance. He shouldn't actually be able to get Glimpse back.
Well, he will just have to keep farming in the top lane. Still good for the Power Rangers. They get a tower and a kill out of it, even with the whiffed chrono. All of a sudden, they've got a 2,000 net worth lead just jumping way ahead of the Hellraisers in this early game. Dityara now moves into a Yasha as his first core item here, and almost level 11. Slark still trying to come online. Will go for the Shadow Blade. Shadow Amulet now in the inventory. So that will be one of the items HR wait for until they get super aggressive. Ninja glimpsed yet again into a Static Storm Kinetic Field combo. And this Disruptor, man, making the
Dyer's
plays
middle
happen
tower
around the
is
map.
under attack.
Nice play by PR, getting the vision with the Zeus ult to glimpse him back. And what Hellraisers really need right now is vision. And they set up one close to the Roshan pit, but they really have no idea where the Disruptor is at any time. And this is why he's been able to get so many kills. Gorek making a play on
Dyer's
Dityara.
middle tower is under attack.
And misses the orb, will jaunt to it, and now Dityara knows he's used that mobility item, or ability rather, but does have some reinforcements behind. Morphling will back out. You know, I just realized in that last fight I said defensive weave. It was an aggressive weave. I was looking at the wrong icon. So it was a good time for HR to go in, but they still lost the fight, unfortunately.
HR need to just dodge Disruptor fights unless they want a 5-on-5.
Dyer's top
and
tower is under attack.
they can't really 5-on-5 still yet without the Pug Blink, so that is very much delayed. They also can take out Roshan just because PR has been mostly
Dyer's top
reactive
tower
to
is under
HR's
attack.
movements and counter ganking, aside from that one play that we
Radiant's
saw in
middle
mid,
tower
and
is under attack.
HR not interested in fighting, at least not until they get, I don't know, maybe better progress until their BKBs, because BKBs destroys PR.
Yeah. I think Shadow Blade and Blink are going to be the first two steps where they can take fights a little bit, go for pickoffs, maybe try and just create some space for themselves. If they can get a pickoff move into Roche, that'll secure them at least a couple minutes of safety to keep farming towards those BKBs. But some tower exchanging will be steps in the right direction. HR pressuring the Tier 1 mid as PR pressure the Tier 1 top. Both teams have glyphs at the available at the moment, and Power Rangers do have the advantage in terms of damage on the towers, so they could have the option to finish this one off and then try and TP back and take a skirmish if they're so inclined. Though, no Static Storm, no Chronosphere for another 15-20 seconds, and perhaps PR will just be happy with the tower trade.
PR has the HP advantage, but they don't have the damage advantage. They have the Troll, so they should be better off when it comes to trades.
Mm-hmm.
And they just blew a smoke. So it's a 4-man smoke. They don't expect a contest.
Oh, yeah, they did smoke. So they are maybe just going to leave the Morphling, send a Replicate, and try and do a wraparound here at the mid lane.
Yeah, they need to try and...
Oh, they've already got the Replicate out, too. Yeah, there you go. Oh, no, that's just an illusion.
They need to try and set up a glimpse back. They also have that very nice Observer Ward to catch stragglers if they round up the cliff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so stuck in a pause here. Somebody needs just a minute. Dread. Again, guys, this is game one of this best-of-3 series. Winner here will be moving on to the grand finals with a one-game advantage in that best-of-5. Here's the resume. HR still committed to the
Radiant
mid-push.
structures
Glyph
are
will come out
fortified.
simultaneously. They'll leave Dityara up top to try and finish off this tower. He's already made a replicate.
Radiant's
And yeah, that
middle
is the
tower
replicate. I'm
is under
confusing
attack.
myself here. The TP coming in.
Dire's
Tower will
top
stay
tower is
standing.
under
Art's
attack.
initiated on. Shallow Grave
Dire's
keeps the
top
Slark
tower
alive, but a
is falling.
huge chrono on the 3. Oh, HR. You're going to be calling the HR department as they're getting wrecked. J4 with a nice swap on the Alpha Ninja. Kinetic Field locks him in place, and a 3-0. And they defend the tower while getting the last hit on the one up top on the Morphling. Now they're going to get the tier
Dire's
1
middle
mid.
tower is
Everything's
under attack.
falling into line for Power Rangers here, Merlini.
Their maneuvers have just been a
Dire's
lot better than
structures are fortified.
HR, and they've been anticipating all the moves by Hellraisers and responding
Dire's middle
accordingly.
tower
They
has
haven't
fallen.
even lost the T1 tower
Radiant's
yet. They
bottom
kept the puck
tower is
low
under attack.
in terms of gold. He has one of the least
Dire's
amounts of
middle
fun in
tower
the game.
is under attack.
And they just go right into Roche. Look at this. They ping it out and say, hey, your troll's dead. Sure, knock yourself out with that tier 1 tower bottom. We're going to take the big boy and get an Aegis on one of our cores. Cheshire Cat with the Mask of Madness up.
Radiant's
Dityara.
bottom tower
He wants
is
the
under
Manta
attack.
closing in on it.
I also like this move to take Roshan
Radiant's
over
bottom
the
tower
T1
has
tower.
fought. Roshan
Because they're not
has
really
fallen
scared of
to the
HR split
Radiant.
pushing them because they still don't have a way to deal with the glimpse. And as long as the glimpse is a highly viable spell, then they can't split push and they can economize them by just being able to split push out lanes, whereas HR can't. And the only way the HR gets back in is by doing Roshan and being able to take towers down eventually, either by dodging the Disruptor or getting ganks on Slark where the Disruptor isn't, and looks like Arts is on a solo mission, probably to kill Dityara, but he has an Aegis, not your ideal target.
Yeah.
We'll sweep through the rest of the jungle, and the other two will go heal. No one to be found, but he will find a nice wolf.
Yeah, a
and
little
Centaur
Centaur there. Yeah, get some extra farm going on. Sork's still farming pretty well, but behind that of the Morphling, just after that huge burst of momentum, it is
Radiant's middle tower is
about
under attack.
6,000-7,000 gold.
Cheshire Cat
Radiant
set up
structures are
for
fortified.
a kill on Alpha Ninja here.
Is he? Yeah. Thinking about it. With the Mask of Madness, he can do a good bit of damage. Disruptor's right behind him. Static Storm is
Arse.
ready.
Radiant's
Backdooring
middle
mid.
tower is under attack.
And will get it, but will it cost him his life? Seneko TP's in, silence onto Arts. He's stuck inside of the Static Storm. No Shadow Dance for you, and yeah, he gets the tower, but another kill goes the way of Dityara, and that just furthers the disparity between the two of them.
Seneko has been the MVP for this
Up
Radiant
top,
team.
Cheshire Cat going in onto Alpha Ninja. He does not have the damage for this. Gotham's here, throws out a living armor, and Cheshire Cat now stuck inside of an overgrowth. He's going to pay for his greed, and the troll just chops him down as he gets close. Now J4 with a swap onto Dread. Grave comes out, Courier comes flying in as the urn gets delivered. Will Dread actually be able to live, though? I'm not so sure about that one. Adaptive Strike does a lot of damage. Still alive with a couple of hit points to spare, but the Arc Lightning will finish him off as the puck has already died. Now Gotham gets locked down, and HR just falling apart. They got the kill on Void to start things off, but once the reinforcements arrived, PR dropped the hammer.
I think their sort of play would work against the normal lineup, though. But they just have not been
Dire's
able
top
to play
tower
around
is
the
under
glimpse
attack.
at all. I think half their kills have been due to glimpse. And on top of that, they lost the T1 fight on bottom because Slark got glimpse back, and they are just not prepared. Usually you'll like TP to a T2, wait 3 seconds ish, and
Dire's
then
top
you
tower
go in,
has fallen.
or you go in without just them having vision of you at the tower, and it's just been the Disruptor show this entire game. And they have their initiation items now. Puck does have his Blink Dagger, Slark does have his Shadow Blade, but it's too little too late, and Seneko has still been there to counter the plays from such characters as the Slark trying to backdoor to T1 mid, and Alpha Ninja in a very aggressive position. He has a haste, but that's not going to save you from a Glimpse Kinetic Field.
Yep, Glimpse Kinetic Field, plenty of stuns. Alpha Ninja will not get scouted out, at least not quite yet, so this time he will stay safe. But the Faceless Void continuing to farm up, has himself a Mithril Hammer now, either a BKB or a Maelstrom, and okay, there it is, Maelstrom coming out, it's been delivered, and he works on an Ancient Stack. So even more damage coming into the mix for the Radiant side. The Manta's up on the Morphling, who also has another 2,600 gold to play around with. Yeah, even with this Midas on Slark, just can't keep up with the farm of Morphling as he just keeps getting hero kill after hero kill, 4-1-1, and only 20 minutes. Gorak invisible, scouting things out as the puck. Oh, he breaks a smoke right away. They know somebody's around. They drop a Sentry Ward right away. Nice little heads-up play there, but puck does walk around the other side.
And this sort of play also... Oh, they were actually a little slow on the Zeus, so they could have done it as soon as the smoke pad popped. But I think Puck would have been able to blink away quite easily. And this also wastes the Troll Warlord's build. He went... I mean, Morbid Mask or Vladimir's offering, he doesn't have to fully commit to the landscape, but he did go with the Vlads, and without being able to do Roach, he's incredibly weak. It's decent for sustain, but it's just one of the strengths of their lineup that they haven't been able to utilize at all because of that huge botched fight close to the dire T1 in the mid.
Yeah, and that's one of the other issues that Arts is having. He's trying to use the Shadow Blade, moving into the Radiant Jungle again, but just not finding an opening that he feels comfortable with a lot of heroes missing off the map. And when you see a Slark go into a Shadow Blade build, that's usually a sign that he wants to be aggressive, and still sitting 0, 1, and 0. Arts has not been involved in a single kill this game.
Everyone can escape now, aside from Disruptor, but he can just drop a Static Storm and it'll be a kill on the Slark.
Yeah.
And J4 can defensively swap to Yara can Manta and Man Fight or Waveform out or Replicate out.
Can you Dark Pact a Glimpse?
No, you cannot.
You can't. Is there anything that stops Glimpse dead in its tracks? You talked about the Ember Spirit ultimate can kind of make you invulnerable. Is there anything else that totally breaks it or disjoints it?
Storm's Zip.
The Zip does? Okay, another one of those weird invulnerability states.
So, but
you have to time it just right.
Not Yules, not Dark Pact, not Purge.
Okay.
Not a lot of things. BKB, obviously. BKB
are fortified.
Well, yeah, those those might go without saying. They're probably worth mentioning here. As you said before, BKB is going to be a big deal for HR, as that will stop this Disruptor's power. They get a Tier 2 in the bottom lane near the Dire base. HR trying to push the Tier 1 in the top. But the Glyph comes out. Now Arts gets initiated on. Chronosphere's a whiff as he leaps forward. Does get off the Dark Pact, the Shadow Dance this time around, but Arts still in a lot of trouble. The Shallow Grave from Dread will cost him his life, and it will not keep Arts alive. Down he goes. Gorak able to blink over the tree line, survives to tell the tale, but still a 2-0. PR once again get a Tier 2 tower, defend their Tier 1, and do not take any casualties doing so.
I mean, they're just playing very well as a team.
Clean, aggressive, and defensive plays.
This time Slark went onto the Disruptor, blew his Shadow Dance before the Static Storm came out, and he still couldn't get a kill on the Disruptor. J4 with a defensive swap, and then Slark is caught out in no man's land with none of his cooldowns. And they simply just have to get BKBs. That's the only way to deal with this support duo from Power Rangers. And even then, it's still going to be uphill battle, but at least they have the option of not dying in team fights.
Well, Troll has his BKB completed on the way, so that is the first step. No one else even with a piece of their BKB yet. I don't know if one bit of magic immunity on the Troll will be enough, as even more big items come out on the Radiant side. Shotgun online for the Morphling, 23 minutes in. Already has a Manta, so this Ethereal Blade going to do some serious work. And you've got BOTs actually out on the puck, so Gorak maybe a little more mobile, but again, not a game-breaking item at this stage.
I think it's pretty important for him to have more mobility, though. As we've seen, PR has had unrivaled mobility this entire game. And if Slark actually has a killing buddy, and the puck can, let's say, silence the Disruptor or silence the Vengeful Spirit, Arts backdooring top tower.
Yeah, right at it again. This time he'll walk away from
if he can actually have a ganking partner, then I think they can actually get pickoffs with the Shadow Blade. But as of yet, the Shadow Blade hasn't been supremely useful for them. Hasn't really yielded in that many support kills at all.
Hasn't yielded any kills at all. I don't think they've gotten a single kill since he's picked it up.
Well, he's 0-4-0, 0-2-0. Yeah, so that would stand to reason.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, well, not even just with him. I don't think they've gotten a single kill since he picked it up, even across the map.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just in general. Like, they've been on 4 kills for quite a while. Last few skirmishes have all been clean 2-0, or 2 or 3, what have you. The shotgun is really scary, though. Puck with 830 hit points. God, so many of these heroes are just free food for the shotgun. Some of the core is probably not one-shottable, but 1200 HP where the Troll, Slark, and Tree are sitting is not a huge amount. One shotgun to the face, and they're going to be close to death. And you know, you think about all that Zeus follow-up damage on top of the E-Blade. Yeah, you're going to be in the bad turf. Ghetto.
Bad news bears.
Bad news bears. That's what I'm looking for.
Morphling has his 2 items, the 25-minute mark, much earlier than normal Morphlings come online.
Oh yeah.
That's what happens when you get 5 kills and the first Roshan. Speaking of Roshan, will respawn in just about a minute's time. Will be right on average with a 130 respawn timer.
Tier 2 tower in the mid lane goes down, so now HR out of access points to try and make it to the Roach Pit. All of their outer towers have been killed. And, oh, Dityara coming in with a shotgun. Got him! Got him, goes down, and that'll be a Treant in the grave. Shotchlo now on a mega kill streak. The aggressive weave comes out. I don't know why I keep wanting to say defensive. And that seems to be enough to repel PR, at least for now.
So BKBs are a step in the right direction, but they're not a I win button. The way that PR's lineup work is that they're actually very good at baiting out BKBs. With a shotgun, if you don't BKB that, you're probably going to die. If you get glimpsed and you don't BKB that, you're also going to die. And these are spells that they can cast without actually starting the fight. And whereas if HR BKBs, they can't actually start off a fight unless they have the puck there or the Tritium Protector there, but neither of them really want to be up in that range.
Yeah, Tree closing in on a Blink Dagger with about 1,600 gold.
Shadow-bladed, we'll scout out Cheshire Cat.
Will they go for it? So some duration on the Shadow Blade, but looking at his vision, you can see the other heroes, and uh-oh, they've got a gem on J4! That's a Chronosphere on the Slark, and he's going to get turned into sushi. Chop him up and put him on the table as Dityara finds another kill. They find Gorek in the Roche Pit. He'll be able to jaunt to his orb and survive, but now Roche going to be fair game for PR, and what a perfect time for a pick-off on the position 1 of the opposition.
Man, what a perfect game coming out from Power Rangers.
They just picked up that gem too, like maybe 25 seconds before that happened, so Slark had no idea there was even a gem on the field. Last he looked at the inventory, he was safe and sound. Very unfortunate for the Hellraisers.
When you have this level of teamwork, the Slark is just not an issue at all.
Yep. That's what it feels like. Oh boy. So about a 10,000 gold and experience lead for the Power Rangers. Still the Morphling dominating over the Slark. About 16k net worth compared to the 10 of the Mr. Murloc. Looks like Scotty may be in the Slark's future, but not the immediate one.
Dityara with a
isn't there?
ton of items. 3,800 gold on him post Aegis.
I mean, he's could start closing in on a Scotty here pretty soon if that's what he's looking for.
So let's talk about things that are going well for Hellraisers, because there's not that many.
Is there much on the list? What's on the docket, Merlini?
I was hoping you'd tell me.
Well, you've got a 10-second BKB on Troll. That is certainly a positive. You've got Puck working on an Aghanims. He's got an ultimate orb. This is rough. Oh, Affinj bumps into J4 in the jungle. And, well, no kill going to come out there. Or will it? Glimpse back. Seneko. He will burn that 10-second BKB charge to stay alive. So that's still a victory for the Disruptor. A glimpse for a 10-second BKB. They'll take that all day.
So you usually get the Puck Scepter against BKBs, and I guess eventually they'll be forced to get BKBs on side of Power Rangers, but at this point,
I mean, Cheshire Cat has
through.
one.
Yeah, they just have one, but at the same time, they can invulnerability dodge the ult, too. Morphling has the waveform, and Faces of Void has a time wall.
Yeah.
I don't actually think that the Puck total is that great. Oh, and another
up top, glimpse onto Gorek. This time he'll blink back, but still in a lot of trouble. Hit by a shotgun, blown back, and, well, J4 will swap him. Grave from Dread buys him some time, and there's Cheshire Cat with the chrono. See you later, Puck. Good night, Troll. He'll buy back right away. Dread trying to book it back to the well. Triple kill for Cheshire Cat as he also finishes off the Slark. The Tier 3 tower now fair game. Buybacks aplenty for HR. Still 5v5 on the field. Puck hops in. Silence on 2. And we'll have to jaunt defensively. Tier 3 tower is already fallen. The barracks still alive with a glyph still intact. Seneko does not have a static storm. Affinj initiated on. Shallow Grave comes out. BKB used by Cheshire Cat as he goes man fight mode. Affinj does not win the duel. Treant Protector also falls on the backside. Slark trying to pick off supports, but it's going to cost him. No more ultimate for you, Arts. They're going to chase him down. Time walk, and he is dead. They'll lose their Disruptor again around the backside as Gorek tries to focus the weak ones, but it is a costly defense for HR if you can even call it that. They're going to go right back in for the barracks. They get the melee. The glyph comes out too late to mitigate the damage, and it will buy them some time for the ranged. It's just disaster after disaster for this Dire side. Merlini Puck comes in again with some damage on Dityara. He still has the Aegis in tow and completes his Scotty while all this is going on. And that's it. HR just going to tap out. Woo! That's brutal. Dude, it felt like that entire game, just nothing went HR's way at all. Between Slark getting picked off there right after the gem gets picked up, He gets picked off right as Roche respawns. They couldn't get anything going their way. Do you feel like the Midas on Slark was a mistake? Like, Morphling went for the early combative items. You could tell PR were ready to put the pedal to the metal early on. Slark in it for the late game. Do you think that could have been different if he just went like straight for a Shadow Blade to get a little more active?
I don't think so. I don't think he has enough damage to kill the supports. The supports almost always were together the entire game. And when they play like that, you can't actually get kills on either of the supports without sacrificing your life, and you don't ever want to make that trade as a carry. So it was a difficult position for them. I think they had to farm up a lot more, unfortunately, and I also think they need to lend Puck a little bit more assistance in the bottom lane, just so he gets that blink there. Once they get the blink, I think they can get kills, but it just came out at like 18, 19 minutes, and you want that. I mean, from offlane Puck, probably around 11 or 12, but by the time 18 minutes had come around, all the damage had been done. They didn't lose any of their T1s. They swept all of HR's T1s, and it felt like their game plan never really came to fruition. They never got to go on Roshan. They had all these defensive supports, but people still kept dying because Disruptor's Glimpse is way too strong versus the Grave and the Living Armor. I mean, you just can't help but die if you're repositioned back into those 5 heroes. Yeah. The Disruptor might be something HR want to consider banning for Game 2, because Seneko 1-1 in 15. Not a very sexy score, but he was a big playmaker. That's a sexy support score. Yeah. So, all right, guys, that's Game 1 of this best of 3. I'm Zyori. That's Merlini. We're coming right back, so don't go anymore. Plenty more DAC coming up. Game 2, right around the corner.